And thanks so much for staying with us, everybody. We're going to continue to talk about the 2024 legislative session with State Senator Mike Thompson, State Representative Kevin Felsher. Senator Thompson, one thing that didn't happen, and there was a big dust-up here on the coast, and that was this Senate Tidelands bill, which seemed like a pretty strong bill to me, but then I don't live in Biloxi. So what did you think about this Tidelands bill?
Well, we had a lot of conversations. We met with a lot of folks on trying to stabilize both the Tidelands process and as it affects the gaming industry. You know, if Tidelands was created before the gaming industry was created, before gaming was legalized on the coast. So there's some interconnection there between the two, because while we want gaming, we also want to make sure that we ensure the public's access to the beach and to the water. And so that interplay there sometimes creates a little friction.
And you guys made concessions to the cities as far as marinas and harbors and stuff like that, as you began to hear that people on the coast were a little upset, and you kind of pulled back, I think, on the control the state wanted on our marinas and everything, right?
We did. The final conference report that we proposed basically clarified that it deleted the political subdivision reference in the Tidelands bill, which was the basis of one of the court decisions. Clarified that in order to qualify for a gaming license, you need to have a lease from the state through the Secretary of State, and then codified the site suitability and amenity requirements that the Gaming Commission has.
Well, Kevin, you're a Biloxi guy. The argument down here was that this was a economic development killer for future projects. That's what a lot of people were concerned about. And they said, no, we're not just codifying existing law. They're trying to control what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
Were you worried about that?
Well, what I'll say about that is, number one, Senator Thompson worked really hard on that bill to make it a product that everybody could live with. He spent countless hours doing so.
But it didn't pass.
It did not. The irony is a lot of the crux of that bill was Biloxi is trying to take the Tidelands for themselves. And ironically enough, Biloxi, which generates about 80-something% of Tidelands, only got about $400,000.
Do you think, okay.
One Tidelands project.
A lot of people are talking about that. Do you think that was retribution? You think Biloxi got punished on that?
I think you'd have to ask Senator Delano about that.
Can you get him on the phone for me?
He's readily available.
We'll put him live on the air right now.
Yeah, I don't mind.
No. Delano does know about that. But you know what I think, Senator Thompson? I think it falls on the Gaming Commission. I think they need to be a little more serious about their site approval standards.
I don't disagree.
I mean, that RW project, give me a break.
Well, this was not about any one particular project or any one particular property. The concern here is to try to stabilize both the regulatory and the statutory environment that gaming exists in Mississippi. I think one of the things to point out is that we got it right. We've got a fantastic destination gaming product here on the coast, and I want to do everything that I can do while I'm serving to try to preserve that, both for the existing industry and for future investment.
Okay, for the last 2 or 3 sessions, they've been talking about this mobile online sports betting. Mm-hmm. The House, you guys, I think the first day passed something, didn't you? And then the whole thing just sort of disappeared off the face of the earth. What happened?
Well, the House for the last few years has put forward a gaming bill, but this year in particular, in the off season, they did a study committee. I think Senator Thompson was involved in. The Senate had some concerns. I'll let Senator Thompson speak specifically to those, but they were valid concerns as far as iGaming that could threaten our bricks and mortars, and also some guardrails on consumer protection. The House felt like we addressed those, and what we didn't, we would. And at the end of the day, I just don't think Senator Blunt and Senator Thompson saw it that way. But again, I would let him speak to that.
I will. But I just want to say one thing. It's 2024. Mm-hmm. All over the country, people are sitting around in their living rooms on their phone, betting on DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM, and Harrah's. And here we are in Mississippi, surrounded by geofencing or whatever it is. Come on.
Well, I think that there's a lot of there's just a couple of concerns there. If you just open it wide open, we've got our existing casino markets that there wasn't a unanimous consent there. It was about a 50-50, 60-40 split.
Among the operators.
Among the current operators,
yeah.
That's correct. And then also you look around the country and you look over in UK on what's happening with online sports books and iGaming, and there's some legitimate consumer protection and student athlete type concerns out there on how you approach this. The Senate position, keep in mind also the Senate bill, when we passed out the House bill on the Senate side, had a strike all that just brought forward code sections, didn't do anything else. And I still had 15 nay votes in my chamber on that without anyone really actively campaigning against it. So there was some concern on our side of the hall. The other point there is that the House bill really didn't address the consumer protection issues that were raised during the summer study committee. It was
Well, I don't bet online. I'm just going to tell you that. I don't get turned on by that. You won't find me on my phone betting for what that's worth. Kevin, but here's another big failure, the ballot initiative. I mean, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
99.9% of Mississippians are for it. You can't say that about any other issue, I
Right.
don't think. And once again, the legislature failed to deliver at the finish line.
So the House sent over a product that required about 8% of the registered voters, which was tantamount to about 166,000 people, 4 districts. One of the hang-ups, but we did pass it with a veto-proof majority, I think, was that it did codify our abortion stance. No abortion on the ballot, and I know some have raised.
Well, wait, you can cherry pick issues. You can say, yeah, you can vote on this, you can vote on that. You're not voting on abortion.
I will
say that?
I will say that was a consensus of the overwhelming members of the House, is that a lot of blood and sweat and tears were fought over abortion, overturning Roe versus Wade, and whatever your stance on that, the overwhelming members of the House did say that would be part of the initiative. But I will say this, that was a product that was sent to the Senate. The Senate could not pass a ballot initiative product. It came out of one committee 26-21 or 26-22, and then it didn't. He wouldn't even take it up in the other committee, so it died in the Senate.
Okay.
Just to be fair.
Okay, we'll end the segment with Kevin Felsher throwing the Senate under the bus.
Seems to be a common theme.
The
You've
Senate
earned it.
was weird this year, though.
You've earned it.
Okay, well, we're out of time. I just like to say people should have the right to petition government to put issues on the ballot.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's kind of the American way. Well, Mike Thompson, Kevin Felsher, good to see you guys. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll have to have you back on during the off season and kind of maybe preview about what's coming up next year.
Be a pleasure. Thank you.